Welcome back to the special edition of an interview with Kun Apisit Wechashiwa, the leader of the Democrat Party. Now, Kun Apisit, I have a book of yours here, การเมืองไทยหลังรัฐประหาร Thai Politics After the Coup. This was written by you earlier this year.
Towards the end of last year.
Towards the end of last year. So you had a chance to look into what was happening then with the government, with the CNS. Now, comparing that period to now, we're at this taping, we're at the end of February going into March. How do you evaluate the effectiveness of the government and the Council for National Security?
Well, I had anticipated a number of problems in the book.
Yes.
I felt that there were a number of risk factors and how things might go wrong. The biggest overriding concern, of course, is how we can manage a smooth transition back to democracy. And the biggest fear, of course, is any kind of violent confrontation that might erupt. And it could happen from either side. On the one hand, a possible face-off between those within the old regime and the current regime, which might be sparked off by the court cases, corruption cases, or even the party dissolution case. And as we speak, you know, there's still that tension.
Yes.
Still,
yes.
It hasn't gone away. And I had urged the people in power to give as much information as possible to the people about the nature of these cases, so that when a judgment comes, when a ruling comes, it is explicable to the people. They understand why a decision is taken. They haven't been that successful in doing that.
Yes.
And so I think you're stuck in the same atmosphere where supporters of the previous regime will say any ruling against Thaksin or his people are just abuses of power by the current regime. And of course opponents of Thaksin and the old regime expect nothing less than a fairly severe punishments, you know, ranging from disqualification from politics to, you know, confiscation of assets or even criminal punishments. So that's quite difficult to overcome unless people are aware of the necessity of the nature of these cases. On the other hand, if the CNS and the government get themselves into a corner and begin to confront people who support democracy in general, that's also very, very dangerous.
Yes.
Again, the tension that we're feeling now is about this. You sense that if the CNS or the government were to say arrest a politician for maybe not following the orders on the banning of political parties, you sense that this could get out of hand.
Yes. Yes.
You've got challenges, you know, the new satellite television station provoking the CNS. Would you shut us down or would you not? And this will continue. And the challenge, of course, is, as I say, that CNS and the government must be aware all the time that they have a disadvantage of not being a democratically elected regime. So they need to be very careful how they are seen, not just by Thai people, but the international community. And that's why I've been urging that they should avoid using special powers, but must really be strong and firm in the normal enforcement of the law. For instance, you know, the order to ban political party activity, it will be more and more difficult to justify. You know, why should this be in place when parties should perform quite an important role in telling the public about the new charter? Why should this be in place if we're going to have elections, say, 6 months, 7 months from now? Shouldn't political parties be allowed to work on their policies, engage the people in normal political activities.
Yes, yes.
So I've been urging them to lift these orders. Now, does the lifting of these orders threaten national security? I say, well, don't you have enough security laws? It's not as if you lift the order tomorrow, I would be allowed to go and burn down schools.
That's taking place even with the order.
Exactly. And you don't prosecute people who go burn down schools as part of a political activity. It's not a political activity. It's an act that threatens law and order and security. And you have normal laws, you have mechanisms to deal with that. So I would like to see the CNS and the government take this approach. Rather than sort of sitting somewhere in the uncomfortable middle. You know, they want to have special powers and they're reluctant to exercise those powers, and they're in a no-win situation.
Right. Now, looking into the current political situation, Kun Napisit, we've seen a lot of different groups emerging, most of them coming out from the Thai Party. We have factions under Kun Somsak, Thep Sutin, factions Kun Suchat Tanjaran, various other people, and they're just sort of there and not exactly announcing their intention about their future political plans, while you and the Democrat Party are there, and the Thai Party. I mean, does that situation put the existing political parties at a disadvantage in having these groups? You can't really call them political parties because they're not yet set up, and they're just sort of sitting there waiting for the right time to come out and announce their intentions.
I'm not too concerned about, you know, who will be at an advantage or disadvantage in terms of political competition, so long as the rules are fair and enforced fairly. And after all, you need political competition, otherwise democracy would be meaningless. But the movements of these politicians is just what you would expect. You've seen it so many times before. And the problem, of course, is that there's a great deal of ambiguity about where they stand. It's interesting that despite these people leaving the Thai Party, you hear very few words from them in a way that would somehow discredit or actually a declaration that they've distanced themselves from what the Thai has done. So I see the movements as an attempt, first of all, to take the pressure off them. Take the pressure off them as politicians and take the pressure off the TRT as well. And at the moment, there's nothing that would stop these people to regroup.
So you think there's a strong possibility that
it's still a distinct possibility that they would regroup.
Okay, I see. Now, many people are looking ahead and into the next election that is coming up. They're looking past problems that we're having right now, the charter and things like that, and they don't see a clear political future. They don't see what is going to happen to Thailand in the future.
Well, how can they if we still don't allow party activities at the official level? And that is why I've been arguing that political parties should now engage people, should be allowed to engage people in the policy formulation process. Otherwise, we would be nothing more than just, electoral machines. Don't we want to get away from parties being electoral machines? If you really want a true political party that engages the people continuously, you have to allow political parties to engage in activities now.
Now, what about the Democrat Party itself, Kun Apisit? Now, you're probably restricted by this current ban that we have on political parties' activities, but many people are questioning, will you be bringing in people like Kun Supachai, Panichapak, or even Kun Chuan Lik Pai back and helping the party in the next election?
Kun Chuan has never gone away.
Will he play a more prominent role, perhaps?
Well, we need to put things in perspective. We've got a court case pending still.
The party
we hope that is concluded by end of April, and so we can get on with
Any
with our
concerns about
preparations.
that and how the case is proceeding?
Well, we are confident that we can prove our innocence. But of course, the case is with the court, and it would be disrespectful to the judges to say more. I just only, I mean, the only wish I have is that they would somehow allow the media and the people more access to the facts of the case. A lot of the proceedings is done through exchange of documents. You know, so we as a defendant have to make our case in written statements, submitted almost on a weekly basis without witnesses and so on. And the Attorney General does the same. And but only us, the Attorney General, and the judges see this. The public doesn't. The public gets only a tiny glimpse of the facts of the case when the witnesses take to the stand.
Yes, that's true.
And usually the questioning would be on the details, but the big picture is missing. I just wish that somehow the public would be made more aware of what's going on, and I hope that the tribunal would consider helping that cause, which I think will help them too when they make the final judgment, because it will have a political impact, and they I'm sure they will have good reasons for their decision, but those reasons would not be appreciated by the people unless they know the facts of the case. So once, I mean, so if the case is concluded, and suppose that we can continue to operate, I think things will become clearer by themselves. You know, in terms of personnel, in terms of policy, in terms of where we stand, and I guess 3-4 months from now, you will begin to see a clearer picture in terms of alliance between political parties and groups.
And now you're talking about alliance between political parties. There was a recent lunch between you, the Chat Thai Party leader, Mahachon Party leader, and some other groups. Is that a signal that an alliance is being formed?
It's a lunch.
Don't read more into it.
We've had lunches together during the, I guess, over the last year. You know, during all throughout the crisis. We meet every now and then, and we felt that, you know, we hadn't met each other for quite some time, and in fact that lunch took place before a meeting called by the Electoral Commission, and we thought we'd bounce off ideas in terms of what we would like to present to the Electoral Commission.
I see. So what about back to the Democrat Party? Have you thought about people, the next election, fielding who, having more members, any prominent people joining the party?
But
disclose some of the details to us?
Certainly not now. Certainly not now. And a lot of people are still taking a sort of wait-and-see attitude. Which is understandable, particularly with us, because we've got a court case pending.
Yes.
But in terms of direction of policy and commitments on some key issues, you know, that's going ahead as normal, except that we cannot do it officially.
Okay, so as soon as this court case ends and we have a new charter, then there can probably be a clearer direction.
Well, again, I just wish that they would remove the restrictions sooner than what people have said, which is wait for the Constitution. I don't want the orders lifted and then just political parties going into election mode. I mean, I think that I want to see political parties perform the role of, you know, taking the people through a process of thinking about the future of the country, and not just waiting for some kind of packages presented by parties with 2 months or maybe less than that before they decide. I certainly, because I began the Democrat Assembly concept about a year and a half ago.
Yes.
I want to continue that process. You know, it was disrupted by all the political crises that we've had, but I'd like to resume it before election time, and I think that political parties should all do that.
Okay, well, thank you very much for giving us time today, Kun Abhisit, and hopefully we'll get you on the show some other time in the future to talk more about politics.
You're welcome.
Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ That's it for this special interview with Kun Abhisit Wechachiwa, the Democrat Party leader, and I'll have to say goodbye today. สวัสดีค่ะ